Hey, what's up? I'm Payne the Fiddler, and I'm back with another time lapse. We're switching things up a little bit today, building a roller coaster. This is actually for a challenge. It's called the Coaster Makeover Challenge on the Ch5 Gaming Discord. The idea of the challenge is that we have two different roller coasters, both of which were designed by NicerDicer. We can pick either one. One of them has a launch, and the other one is a Lifthill coaster, and we have to decorate it. I decided to go with the Lifthill coaster, and you can see that there are two sections of track. The first part, the red part, we have to keep exactly the same, but we're allowed to remove the green track and replace it with anything that we want. So that's where I'm going to start here. I'm going to be extending this second drop after the mid-course. I wanted to go underground with this build. I'm going to be experimenting with using some invisible paths to get some auto excavation on the blueprint. I don't want to change the character of the ride too much. It's not super intense, it seems like. Taking a look at the G-forces, nothing that intense. It's a little bit flowy. So I want to make sure that the section that I'm adding still fits, feels like it's part of the same roller coaster. That being said, I'm definitely going to add some more airtime because I love airtime. I think my process for designing roller coasters is I'll go element by element. I'll first kind of sketch out an idea for the next element in the track, and then I'll do some testing, check out the G-forces, see if it needs to be tweaked or if I need to just kind of start all over. On this first underground section, I started off, the elements were a little bit too small. I was working with a bit more speed than I realized, so I just had to draw out that first airtime hill, and then the overbank. Also had to widen that out a bit and take it basically all the way to the other side of the blueprint. And you may have noticed that I am working in the snow. That is a bit of foreshadowing, you could say, because the theme that I'm going to be going for here does involve snow, or it's going to be making use of the snow. I think it's something I've been wanting to do ever since they added that in I forget which update, but yeah, it should adds a lot of like visual interest to the builds kind of for free, so I'm going to be using that. really wanted to try to get this station fly-through idea to happen, but ultimately the ride just didn't have enough speed. It was a bit too much of a stretch, so I go through quite a long process of trying to get that to work and trying different things before I finally decide to scrap it and just replace it with a helix that's a bit smaller. Now the ride is pretty much finalized. Just time to check some clearances, make sure we're not going to be maiming any of the guests. Want everyone to leave the ride with all the limbs they entered it with. And now that we are done designing the layout of the roller coaster, it is time to start work on the theming. I mentioned that this is going to be a snow build, but I didn't say exactly what kind of snow build it's going to be. When I was thinking about it, the first idea was I wanted it to be snow. And then from that, I think could have gone for a Viking build. Definitely works very naturally with snow, but I think I'm going to be saving the Viking build. I actually have quite a personal interest in Norse mythology, and I'm not quite ready to tackle Viking. I feel like I feel a bit too strongly about it. It needs to be need to develop the idea a bit more. But anyway, that was a tangent. What we are doing, we're going to go for kind of a Himalayan mountain monastery, maybe like a Tibetan monastery build. So the general overview of the layout that I have planned is first we're going to have a courtyard here at the entrance, and I want to have the overbank turn there, kind of fly over the entrance to this courtyard. Then on the far side of the courtyard is the queue entrance, and one thing I really want for this ride, I want it to have a really awesome queue. I want it to be a journey, so I'm going to take the queue up onto like a second tier that circles all the way around the courtyard and then goes back into the temple and then goes underground, and then is going to go into like some kind of cave, and there'll be cool stuff down there. That's as far as I've gotten so far. And then the ride itself will kind of be passing through the mountains. Obviously, the first lift hill is going to be going up to the top of the peak, and it's going to pass through like some crevices, go through some ice caves, and also pass by the underground scene that the queue is going to go through as well. Getting this courtyard right was actually a pretty difficult process because it's not typically the way I would build something like this. I think a lot of people, what I've heard from people is that they like to build the coaster first and then decorate it. I don't necessarily do that. I think I actually like to start from sort of the essential interactions of the roller coaster. So if I was building this from scratch, I probably would have built this courtyard and the overbank turn that interacts with it kind of at the same time and let the buildings influence the roller coaster and let the roller coaster influence the buildings. So this was a bit difficult for me. Not like I did eventually figure it out, but it was a bit of a change up from, I think, the way I would have tackled this normally, which is probably a good thing. It's good to test yourself sometimes. One thing I really want to work on while building this blueprint is just managing pieces. I think I've done a pretty good job in the past, but for pretty much every blueprint that I've built so far for the different contests, I've gone down rabbit holes kind of too early on and invested too many pieces into things that turned out to be not as consequential. So really want to focus on getting more or less the whole layout, especially for the buildings, blocked out before I really start doing any kind of detail work. That being said, I did start on some asset creation during this process. You can kind of see them in the front there. That will be the next video, actually. And I think for as noble as my intentions were to be really prioritized about the way that I built it, sometimes you just need a break, and I got a little stuck on the layout at one point, and just stopping that, going over and building some assets really helped. And I think that's sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to just step away from what you're working on just to get some space from it. Also, just getting progress on something else can help you reset. And finally, the assets kind of helped me decide the next step in the process of figuring out the layout, or they gave me confidence in the ideas that I was having. Just seeing something that's a bit more final kind of gives you that feeling, the confidence to keep going. And I think I'm probably going to call it there. Not the most exciting video for sure, just spent a lot of time working on the roller coaster layout, and then a lot of time just blocking out some buildings. So it might be a little hard to see. Hopefully y'all can see the vision. Be interesting to see how I figure out a thumbnail for this one that's interesting to look at. But yeah, I think we got some good bones, and in the next few episodes we'll be building out the detail, and it'll really start to come to life. Alright, yeah, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.